Hey y'all, and welcome to the video. I am out and about right now. Gonna make a pit stop at Harbor Freight and see if I can get another jack for today's project. So I want to use 2 jacks on the Jag and be able to lift up the rear end of the car both sides at a time and put it up on my Rhino ramps and see if I can get enough space to do some transmission work with the drain and fill. So here it is. This is a brand new store. I've never been in a Harbor Freight ever, so this would be interesting. All right, we are back and ready to start looking at some things. I've got the 4 Rhino ramps. That's my idea. I went all out here with a 4-ton Daytona jack. I was thinking about my trucks when I got this jack, but this should be very nice to complement the 3-ton Craftsman over here. And I got some other goodies while I was there. And we have a temperature gun, which we will need to use to test the oil temperature on the transmission. So it's kind of an interesting procedure for this job. So that's what we're doing today. All right, let's go for a short drive. I guess it will be all right to warm up the trans oil a little bit. And we can do a start up here. All right, so here's the setup. We got all 4 wheels on top of the ramps. It should be level. It looks like it tilts back to front a little bit, but that might be the car's natural stance. The front end's heavier and squishing a little bit on the ramps, but I think this will be just fine. Should give us enough room to get under there and start working. All right, got all our stuff out besides our little hand pump. Kind of wondering to myself right now why I didn't just drive up on all 4 ramps at the same time, but maybe it was better we did it this way. So here's what we got. Lifeguard 6. We need our 1-quart pump yet. And I've got our Allens. I think we're gonna use, the drain plug might be a 10, and the fill plug might be an 8. We'll see when we get under there. I thought I was gonna have to remove some covers, but I can see the trans pan right in front of me there, so we'll get under there and see what we got. Okay, it is really close quarters in here, but here is our trans pan, which as far as I can tell, it's not leaking, and these are known to leak. So if it was leaking, I would replace it. If it's not leaking, I don't really want to touch it. But here is our drain plug, and our fill plug is right here. So I'm kind of got to do something with this heat shield to make some room to get my Allen in there. This is going to be tough to film before I drain anything out of here. And this is our stubby, which looks like it's going to clear. Holy smokes. Okay. right, drain plug 10 mil. Okay, so it's coming. I'm gonna leave that there for a second. I'm going to rehearse the fill plug step here. And y'all can still see where the fill plug is. It's where my hand is. Hopefully we don't spill a whole lot of oil. Oh, and there goes trans oil coming out. So that's interesting that we had a lot of oil coming out. Maybe it's because it's a little warm, but that's a good bit of oil coming out. There we go. Let that drain off a minute. Okay, to pump it, I think we just need to not shove the tube against the back wall there and give it some space. So we'll have a lot of this pumping, but we'll get there. Okay. All right, fill plug, where are you? Gosh. Dog. Just need to lightly thread the fill plug. Okay, we now need to start the car to finish this part of it. And shift through the gears, and then we're gonna leave it run, go underneath the car, and try to pump in some more oil until it starts flowing out again. We're just gonna have to watch. The exhaust is gonna get hot. We're gonna have to use our temperature gun on the transmission pan, and when it hits 40 degrees centigrade, we will apply the fill plug. So here we go. There we go. Might not let me start with the door open, perhaps. We'll leave the e-brake on there. I accidentally applied it. We'll leave that on though. And shift through the gears here. Just for fun, we'll go through the J gate. I don't think that really does much. This just fills the valve body with new fluid. All right, we got oil coming out here. Let's take a temperature reading. Okay, 41 degrees. Let's shut her down. Actually, let's apply the fill plug. It's perfect. Okay, I went online, found a resource. It was actually for BMW. BMWs also come with this 6-speed ZF transmission, and it says that it takes 4 to 6 quarts. So we put 4 quarts in, so we're definitely on the low side there, but perhaps it has something to do with the fact that I drove the car and there wasn't a bunch of oil sitting in the bottom of the trans when I started the job. That might be a possibility. So I guess we're gonna take the car off the jack stands and take it out for a drive. Okay, here's an idea before we take the car out for a ride. Let's see how much old oil came out of the trans and see if it matches the amount that we put back in. Here we go. This is only not quite 3.5 quarts. Granted, I think there's a little bit of spillage that we had. Let's see. It's a little bit over 3 liters. Just a hair over 3 liters. See how much is on the ground here. Probably a splash. A big splash. I would say they match up pretty well because there's a tiny bit of oil left in the new jugs, just a little bit at the bottom of each one. All right, test drive time. We'll take it on a ride around the block just to make sure things seem good, and then we'll take it on the open road, get it into overdrive, and see how it drives. And we're gonna test out to see if the car starts with the door open. That's kind of weird, but I might have made a connection there. Yes, it's not happy. Shut the door. Still not happy, all right. All right, it's happy now. Oh, no, not anymore. Are you kidding me? I don't know what it is with the key and the ignition, but whatever. Yeah, that ignition thing upsets me because it always worries me that I'm just gonna be left sitting one day. It took me 3 or 4 tries to start the car. And I'm just watching that red light on the dash right there. And if it flashes rapidly, car's not gonna start, don't even try. So, let's see how we do here. Okay, here we go. Nice shifting so far. Feels pretty good. I didn't have any slippage in my 3 to 4 shift there. Don't know if I told y'all, a few videos ago, I mentioned about a kind of grumbling noise coming from the rear end of this car in overdrive under light to moderate throttle increases like this, except now it doesn't do it anymore. I don't know why, but for the last month and a half, it's been very good. So that was one issue that fixed itself. Then we had the check engine light for lean condition, which we don't have anymore. It just disappeared. And for the last 2 weeks, it has not come back. So for now, I'm going to cancel the plan to replace the mass airflow sensor. But if the issue returns, we will do so. A little bit heavier throttle this time. Let's go. Very good, but we also have a warm engine, warm trans, warm oil temps. So we'll come back to this when everything's cold. Our rear rotors aren't too bad. Why is this thing trying to fall over? Okay, let's check this out. The rotors, I mean, they got some wear on them. You can tell there's a lip here. Our pads are not too impressive. Probably only about 20% pad life left. So these are closer to issues than the front. And we have these rear sway bar links. It looks like where the boot is gone there. I'm not really having any symptoms in the rear with issues with my suspension like I am with the front. And then that is also damaged, the boot there. So we got a lot here that might need looked at. But like I said, it's not showing any symptoms. And like with the fronts, I think I want to get rid of these and install these nice lug nuts. So we'll do that while we're here. There we go. Tread's looking really good back here. The fronts are looking pretty good. These are looking even better. Let's check things out. I think we are going to find the same findings as the other side. You know, the rotors are smooth, but they have some wear on them. The pads here might be even worse, probably 15%. They're low. They're getting low. This might have to be done a little bit sooner than I thought. Sway bar links, definitely shot. Rear sway bar, I believe that's what that is. Then you've got this here, looking rough. Upper control arm, also looking rough on the boot. But the control arm itself has, you know, still working and not making noise. And then I think this is our emergency brake deal here, which is interesting, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's how it works. All right, so where do we stand with this project? I feel like things are finally coming along nicely with it. That transmission work was a big one to get off my list. So after doing all of our inspections, and while I was under the car, I didn't see any leaks, so I was very happy about that. Rear end wise, we're gonna leave the upper control arms for now. We're going to replace the sway bar links, replace those tie rod end looking links in the back, replace the pads and rotors in the back. And then up front, we already replaced the sway bar links, which actually helped the car on the small bumps. We had a clunkiness on small bumps and a clunkiness on big bumps. The sway bars was the culprit for the small bumps. The big bumps, like railroad tracks and things, we still got the clunkiness. That's going to be the upper control arms, likely. So we should replace the upper control arms. And the tie rod ends are not looking too good in there, the boots of them at least, and they're a little bit floppy. So I think we should replace the tie rod ends. The brakes looks pretty good up front with about 50% life left in them. And then, of course, we have our ongoing electrical issues with the parking brake, which we're living with by just holding the parking brake button down when we turn the car off. And the no start issue where the car is not recognizing the key, some kind of ignition thing. There's no clear solution to that, but I'm just gonna have to live with it, I guess, until I figure something out. But if I do get the check engine light for the mass airflow sensor, I am 50-50 about also putting a cold air intake in. I know what that's gonna do. Let's pop the hood. Okay, so mass airflow sensor. You got your air intake here. If there is a check engine light for lean condition, we would replace this sensor, but it could also be caused by a vacuum leak somewhere down here. It's like, well, if we put a new intake in, that would eliminate some things and give us a nice cool looking intake that might give us a little more airflow. But what we're going to lose is our scoop. I mean, we could still leave the scoop here and let it channel some cooler air in this direction, but it's not going to be integrated like it is now, so we probably won't get as cold of air coming in, but I do believe the airflow would outweigh the slightly warmer air. Once you get the car out on the road with wind going through here, I don't think that warmer air is going to matter as much. So yes, I think you'll get more out of a higher flow intake than you would out of a colder air setup. You'd like to have both though. We'll think about it. I'm 50-50 on that. But for now, letting that go. Coolant, not going to try and open that right now. It's hot. In here is the cabin air filter. It doesn't look too dirty, except we got like a mud wasp nest on it and a bunch of leaves and stuff in there. I think we will go ahead and try and get one of those to change out. The coolant, I will take a look at it, think about putting new coolant in. I'm not so sure it's very necessary at this time. May just wait until we're doing something else involving the coolant, like a thermostat or a water pump or something. So I think we're sitting pretty good on our maintenance items. Let's see what our brake fluid looks like. Hard to tell how dark it is. Let's see there. Looks kind of dark. So that could probably benefit from a flush. And then how about some fun stuff? So I would like to do something with the exhaust, and I should have shown y'all the exhaust while we were under there with the trans. But basically how it goes is you got two cats in the front, small resonator. By small, I mean about 17-inch resonator. Then you've got about a 22, 21-inch resonator back here. Then you've got two mufflers, each right here, just inside of the exhaust tips. So my thought was, we're going to leave the converters. We're going to leave that first resonator, which is going to act like an X pipe. We're going to remove the second resonator. We're going to remove the back two mufflers, and we're going to replace the tips. And if we can find some quad tips, two on each side. I like the look of quad tips. So it'll definitely be a bit of an aggressive exhaust, but I'm okay with that. This isn't my daily driver, and it'll probably orient this car a little bit more towards the performance side of Jaguar rather than the luxury side, even though this is a Van den Plas. But I would like to hear my nice V8 a little bit more. Well, it's the next morning and we are over 20 minutes into this video. So to wrap things up for today, I'm going to take the car out for a drive. It's sat overnight. Let's see how the transmission shifts and see if that new oil made any difference in it. So here we go. Can't see it. Well, fires right up. That clacking noise is starting to come back. It disappeared for the summer. It's the belt tensioner, even though it's a new belt and a new tensioner on the car. Don't know why it does that, but it'll clear up after a few seconds. And in the middle of summer, that completely went away. Never happened. So for like 3 or 4 months, I didn't have that. And now that it's getting down into the 60s at night, Fahrenheit, it starts doing that. Alrighty, let's test this trans. Okay, here we go. First acceleration of the day. Good 1 to 2 shift. Good 2 to 3. 3 to 4, still a little slippage there. Maybe a bit better than it used to be, or would have been. And I think we just went 4 to 5, pretty nice. 4 those shifts were all very good. No slippage there. Engine's still kind of cold. So that went pretty well. We made an improvement, but it wasn't the night and day improvement that I was hoping for. Anyways, we'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.